Assalamu alaikum. 6 p.m. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Farzana Khan. First, the headlines. Foreign Minister says Pakistan decided to open the Kartarpur corridor in view of long-standing desires of the Sikh community. China says it plans phenomenal investment in Pakistan and tapping new avenues of joint collaboration. Pakistan and Chinese air forces have started joint international air drill at an operational airbase in Pakistan. Human Rights Week will be observed across occupied Kashmir from tomorrow to highlight the grave human rights violations by Indian troops in the territory. The United States and China have agreed to halt imposing new trade tariffs for 90 days to pave way for talks on the issue. The third and final test match between Pakistan and New Zealand will begin at Abu Dhabi from tomorrow. And now the news in detail. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says Pakistan decided to open the Kartarpur corridor in view of long-standing desires of Sikh community. In a tweet, he said, "We have taken this historic initiative in good faith and will carry it forward in the same spirit." The minister said, dragging his comment towards Sikh sentiments is a deliberate attempt to misrepresent and mislead. He said, "What I said was strictly with reference to bilateral interaction with the Indian government." Shah Mahmood Qureshi said, "We have deep respect for Sikh sentiments and no amount of distortions or controversies would change it." President Dr. Arif Alvi has urged the nation to buy Pakistan-made products due to pressure on Pakistani rupee. In a tweet, he said, "At this time of crisis, we must try to avoid luxury goods and avoid imported purchase." Dr. Arif Alvi said there is a long list of imported products of daily use that can be averted. Minister for Marine Affairs Ali Zaidi says audit will be carried out of the allotment of lands in Karachi Port Trust during the last 20 years. Talking to media in Karachi today, he said the aim of the audit is to ensure transparency in the department. The minister said the drive against encroachments in Karachi is being carried out at the orders of the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Minister for Interprovincial Coordination Dr. Fahmida Mirza says Clean and Green Pakistan campaign is part of Prime Minister's vision to address environmental challenges. Talking to media in Islamabad today, she said we have to take this mission forward by planting more and more trees to make the country greener and environment friendly. She also emphasized on spreading mass awareness regarding environmental challenges. Chinese Consul General Long Dingbin says China plans phenomenal investments in fresh projects, broadening the area of inclusive cooperation and tapping new avenues of collaboration under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. In an interview, he said China would channelize maximum resources to strengthen the economy of Pakistan. The Consul General explained that during Prime Minister Khan's recent visit to China, the scope of investment was widened by inking 15 new agreements. Leung Donville said the communique issued during Prime Minister's visit to China is a guideline to comprehend new dimensions of strategic partnership and friendship between the two countries. Joint international air drill of Pakistan and China, dubbed Shaheen 7, has started at an operational airbase in Pakistan. According to a PAF spokesperson, a contingent of Chinese People's Liberation Army Air Force has arrived in Pakistan, which includes pilots and air defense controllers. Apart from technical crew, fighter, bomber, and early warning AWACS airplanes of Chinese Air Force are also part of the drill. It is the 7th air exercise in the series of joint air drills with Chinese Air Force. Shaheen 6 was held at a Chinese air base last year. The training will promote cooperation between the two countries and their air forces. Pakistan Air Force conducts such exercises regularly with friendly countries. It also holds regular drills for operational training of its air and ground crew. Sindhi Culture Day is being celebrated today to highlight the centuries-old heritage and civilization of Indus Valley. A number of programs were held in connection with the day in various cities of the province to highlight the culture and traditions of Sindh. Different political parties also held programs to celebrate the day. This is Radio Pakistan giving you the news. In occupied Kashmir, Human Rights Week will be observed from tomorrow to highlight the grave human rights violations by Indian troops in the territory. Call for observing the week has been given by Joint Resistance Leadership comprising Sayyid Ali Gilani, Mirwais Umar Farooq and Muhammad Yasin Malik. In occupied Kashmir, the Joint Resistance Leadership has urged the international community, Amnesty International, Asia Watch, United Nations Human Rights Council, and International Committee of the Red Cross to take notice of the worst kind of oppression unleashed by Indian forces in the territory. According to Kashmir Media Service, the leadership in a joint statement issued in Srinagar said the repression in Kashmir has a parallel in what is happening in Palestine, as India takes cue from Israel in new forms of repression. Senior Congress leader Professor Saifuddin Soz, in a statement in Srinagar, criticized Indian Army Chief General Bipin Rawat for violating the constitutional provisions by issuing comments on situations of political nature. During a recent lecture in New Delhi, General Rawat had boasted that the Indian Army could use drones in Jammu and Kashmir or in Pakistani territory. The United States and China have agreed to halt imposing new trade tariffs for 90 days to pave way for talks on the issue. The understanding took place during a meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping in Buenos Aires after the G20 summit. China says both the leaders agreed not to impose any new trade tariffs after 1st of next month. UN Climate Change Summit begins in Poland today. Representatives of nearly 20 nations are attending the summit. At the summit, the smaller states are pushing for richer states to make good on the promises they made in the 2015 Paris Agreement, wherein they pledged to limit global temperature rises to well below 2 degrees Celsius. Iran says its missile program is defensive and not in breach of the UN resolutions. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Bahram Qasemi said in a statement that there is no Security Council resolution prohibiting the missile program and missile tests by Iran. He, however, did not confirm or deny that Iran had carried out a new missile test. In France, the government has announced that it will consider imposing a state of emergency to prevent a recurrence of riots. A government spokeswoman said, "Today, the government has to think about the measures that can be taken so that these incidents do not happen again." The popular rebellion erupted in the middle of last month and spread quickly via social media. The protesters blocked roads across France and impeded access to shopping malls, factories, and some fuel depots. In Somalia, 9 members of Al-Shabaab extremist group have been killed in a U.S. airstrike in southern part of the country. The U.S. Africa Command says the airstrikes occurred near Lebede, west of the capital, Mogadishu. And now hockey. In the Men's Hockey World Cup at Bhubaneswar in India, match between Canada and South Africa is underway. Both teams have scored 1 goal each. In another match, India will take on Belgium this evening. The third and final test of the 3-test match series between Pakistan and New Zealand will begin at Abu Dhabi from tomorrow. 3-test match series was leveled by 1-1. The match will start at Pakistan Standard Time, 11 a.m. And finally, the weather report. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country during the next 12 hours. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analyses, log on to our website, radio.gov.pk, and also watch live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.